Hey, what is up guys, Impulse7 here, and today I am bringing you guys another video, and in this video, we're going to be ranking every story in both Nexi and Tiger Rock, and I am of course joined with Shadow Libra. Say hello. Hello?
I'm shy.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to
No
talk.
joke,
What are you here for?
My mind went completely blank.
What are you here for if you're not gonna speak?
I'm here to be your emotional support.
Okay, no. We're gonna be discussing these. We're gonna be discussing these stories. We ended up being a little bit too late to do the Nexi one. And then we both got Tiger Rock early, so we're just doing them together. We also did this when Haps and Somnophobia both came out. We were a little bit too late to do those two, so we ended up doing both at the same time. Yeah.
Can we do like the Lally's games one with like Tux and Krakoa?
I don't remember. Did I do the Lally's game one with? Did I even do the Lally's game one with you guys? I feel like I might have done it by myself, but I don't remember.
I remember like I was outside when we did that one.
You were outside. Maybe
yeah.
did we do it like outside of the video? Maybe like we just did it for fun on our own. I don't.
It might not have been a video.
I don't remember. Right. It might have been a video too. I just don't remember. Anyway, let's get talking about Nexi and Tiger Rock. We got 8 stories to cover, including the epilogues, of course. So let's talk about Nexi first. You want to go first? You want to talk about Nexi first?
Okay, so I enjoyed Nexi, but it felt a little long.
I can agree.
I liked the creepiness of Nexi herself. I like the ending.
Yeah.
I'd probably describe it badly, but...
It's like better Sergio's Lucky Day.
Yeah.
It's not hard to be better than Sergio's Lucky Day, let's be real, but it is similar to Sergio's Lucky Day, but better.
Of Astrid and what's his face?
The rat from Ratatouille. Remy.
Yeah. Yeah, Remy.
I say I like Nexi too, but I don't think it was like top tier. The storyline was cool, and I liked how it connected to the storyteller and later on Tiger Rock, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I liked just the storyline and like the kind of lore implications. Like it's similar to obviously Sergio's Lucky Day, but it's also similar to like Eleanor and the and it could be like trying to hint at like the burn trap corpse thing, which we also will get to later. But like it could be trying to hint like, yeah, burn trap, like the endoskeleton could have like a corpse is just like plastered onto it, and I feel like Nexi's trying to like hint at that, and I like those like lore implications with it. I'd personally put it at B tier. I think it's better than Submechanophobia, but not as good as Cleithrophobia. Although I will say I think I'd move Somnophobia to be above Bobby Dot's Part 2. Because I think Somnophobia is my favorite like singular story. Where would you put Nexi?
I think I would put it in B tier, but like above Cleithrophobia.
I like Cleithrophobia. I think it's a little bit better than Nexi. It's a cool story. What about Drowning now? This one's a little bit controversial, I think.
That one was the most interesting to me, actually.
The most interesting? What of all 8 stories? Like, what about the mimic? Like, what do you mean?
Okay, maybe not the most interesting.
Exactly. Did you find it to be the best though, or?
I think the mimic was my favorite.
Yeah. Same.
But I still really enjoyed this one. I am a Cassidy drowning believer.
I am as well. I again like the lore implications, how it's like about Cassidy, but I just question like whether it actually is Cassidy. I think it is, but I just like it's not confirmed.
I found it really similar to Ultimate Custom Night, which is actually one of my favorite FNAF games.
Yeah, me too.
So that made me like it a lot.
I
thought the drowning thing was brutal, like as a way to kill Kara.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like it's a really like it's really horrific to, obviously it's a horror story, but like it's really horrific to think about the fact that she was literally trapped in a VR game and ended up brain dead in the real world. Like
Yeah, that is terrifying.
That's really terrifying. Like I can't imagine being in that kind of situation. It's a really like terrifying story, but I honestly don't think that it's that entertaining to read. Like I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was like D tier, but I don't think it was like A or even really B. I'd personally put it in C tier. But it's above Epilogue 5 and 2, which again it's not that hard to be better than those two because they're a little bit boring, but that's what I think. Where would you put it?
I did like it enough that I might put it in B tier, but probably below some Mechanophobia tier listed.
Did you like it better than Nexi?
I think I might have. I think I did, yeah. I think I like some Mechanophobia better than Nexi 2, actually.
Alright, now, the Mimic. Alright, now, Epilogue 6. Would you agree with my placement of the Mimic?
I guess.
You guess. Would you put it in S tier or no?
S or A.
Yeah. I personally think it's good enough to be an S. I think that like the whole emotional value of it is really good. Like the first half and the second half are kind of two different stories, but they're both really good in their own way. I think the second half is more like it's kind of more like the epilogues, but it's better than most of the epilogues, honestly. And the whole first half was really like it was a really emotional story, and I like obviously the lore implications, like how it explains a lot of stuff with Burn Trap and Glitch Trap and stuff like that. Whether you like the Mimic as a character or not, like maybe some people don't like the Mimic as a character, and I understand that. I'm indifferent. I'm okay with it, but I do think that like this story helping us understand it was really good, even if it doesn't end up being like the coolest storyline in general. I like the implication of it here.
Yeah, I like that it was the origin story of the Mimic.
Yeah.
Although I am gonna say, I found the way David died to be kind of goofy. He just kind of gets hit by a truck one day.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, whenever somebody talks about David dying in a car accident, like I heard about that before the story actually, before I actually read the story, I heard about that. Like I was spoiled for this story a lot. And I heard that David died in a car accident. And whenever I hear car accident, I think of like he was in the car and he
right.
That's what I always think of. But like that's obviously not what actually happened.
It's not really a car accident. It's just
it was
like a hit and run.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think it was really a hit and run. It was just a hit and chill. They didn't really leave. They didn't run, but.
Right.
But it was a little bit goofy, like the way that Edwin like was like, obviously he was tired, I get it, but he was like, you'd think that he would be more careful with his son, but I guess you would like, you'd think that the Mimic would try to like, you'd think that either David would go try to hang out with the Mimic in the morning, or the Mimic would go try to hang out with David, but no, neither of those happen. He just jumps outside. And into the street, too. Like, why would he do that?
In traffic.
I understand he's 4 years old, but you'd think that he would be not stupid, right? you know what I mean?
Could have just, like, mimicked David doing that, and then we would have not had to deal with everything after Pizza Sim.
For real, you could have just... For real, you could have just had the Mimic mimicking David just jumping into the street and getting hit by a car. And then everything would be done. The story would be over. But I do think that it is an emotional story, and the implications are cool, and the Mimic killing all the teams was really cool as well. And I like how it shows things from that the Mimic learned from David, but it shows him doing them in aggressive ways from Edwin's point, like that it saw Edwin doing, right? Like, I'm pretty sure there was a part where he saw David like hanging up his clothes, because I think David was like, Edwin told David that he was supposed to hang up his own clothes or something like that, something along those lines, and then David went and did it, and then the Mimic was watching it happen, right? And then later on, he ends up hanging up a person, right? And I feel like that...
It's so similar.
No, like, I feel like that... like it's what David did. It's what David did, but with the aggressive side of Edwin. So like it shows that it is still mimicking both of them. And I think that's like I think it's written
so
really well in that regard.
It does mimic multiple things.
Yeah, of course.
It's something to bring up when people say it doesn't always mimic after.
Yeah, it can mimic more than one thing at a time, of course.
Yeah.
Also it shows that like it also explains that even though the mimic mimics things and the mimic probably didn't watch somebody literally take control of people's minds as glitch trap or whatever, like it shows that the mimic can learn on its own. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
like
so
it like responds.
Really
It responds to David at points in the story too.
Yeah. It needs to do what it needs to do in order to mimic.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like what we see in the Monty Within, which again we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Epilogue 6. Yeah, I agree.
Another one of the billion teenagers die.
Yeah, Jace is dead. What a surprise. Did we not expect that? Like, we saw... No, I swear, if you have a character have a heroic moment where they're about to have a heroic moment and they do the last thing that they wanted to do before they do that heroic moment, you know they're gonna die, right? You know what I mean? Like he kisses Lucia and then he goes off and you know he's gonna die, right? Like you know that's gonna happen. And yeah. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say like, so with the Phasma Frights, I think the strongest point of the Fright series was the Stitch Rave stuff.
Yeah.
And then for Tails, it's like the exact opposite. Where now the epilogue is like the weakest point.
Yeah, you'd think that like the stories, not only are they being really repetitive, but like I was just saying about Jace, it's getting predictable too. Epilogue 7 broke that up a bit, and like I've said,
gonna die, though.
Like I've said like 50 times already in this video. We'll talk about that later, but like Epilogue 7 did break it up a little bit and make it a little bit less predictable, but it still is really predictable and repetitive, these epilogues. So I think that this one belongs in C tier. I don't know whether or not I like it better than 5.
I'd probably put it at the bottom of C or the start of D.
Understandable. I don't think it was bad. I just don't think that it was like amazing or anything. I mean, it was decent, as C tier is called. But I don't know whether I liked it more or less than Epilogue 5.
It's like I'd probably move Epilogue 4 to C as well.
Yeah, I feel like I put that too high. I wouldn't put it to C. I'd put it in B. And I think I'd put it like here. I think it was pretty good, but again, it was like repetitive. Epilogues 1 and 3 were like the best ones because they were like the first ones to show the like really unique scenarios, and I think that they were really good because they were fresh, right? But then epilogues 4, 5, 6 and part of 7 are just really repetitive from like just the original concept. It just happens over and over again. It's just the same thing, and that's why I feel like these epilogues just aren't as good as Phasma Frights. Let's hope the last few are really good though. Like epilogues.
There's only 2 other books announced as of right now.
Yeah, 8 and I think 9 was announced. I think there's still gonna be 10 and 11 probably. Maybe not, but probably.
Most likely.
And I mean, imagine I don't think we've gotten any news on book 9. Imagine 8 is actually the last one. Like I really doubt it, but imagine that could potentially happen.
All I can remember for book 9 is it's supposed to be in January.
What? Oh, it comes out in January. I thought you were saying like the story is in and then it takes place in January. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
I don't like. I was like, I don't think we got the description for it, did we? But like it's possible that it's possible that 9 actually doesn't exist and it was just put on there because like you would expect it there to be one. But like with Lucia being the only one in the epilogues, it feels like it feels like she would die in 8. And then either it would end there, or they would move on to something else, right? I
feel like Lucia's gonna die, and then this may be wishful thinking, but I hope after that,
Vanny,
the Blob gets created,
or the Blob.
Or
okay, yeah, that's fair. I still think that the Blob is Molten Freddy, like whether he's actually like possessed by those spirits or not. I know you don't think he does. I know you don't think he is. That he's possessed by those spirits. But I think whether he is or not, he's still Molten Freddy, but like obviously expanded. So there would definitely be more to happen within that. And it has the black tentacles, kind of like Eleanor did, and Eleanor's were made out of blood, so maybe there's like bodies in there or something. Who knows? But I think that just this epilogue in general, like I've been saying, it's just repetitive, and that's so yeah, I think it belongs in C tier. I think okay, 5 was literally just a carbon copy of 4. Let's be honest here.
It really was.
You know what? I'm gonna move 5 down to D, okay? Because it's really just the same thing. It's literally the exact same thing, just with Adrian and Jace instead. Like, it's literally the same thing. So I don't think I think it should go in D. It's still better than Haps though.
I can't even remember like which character is which too. Like, I actually have to like look it up.
I think I still remember what all the characters who all the characters are. I don't think I have to look it up, but if they keep dying every epilogue, then there's no point in remembering them anymore, you know?
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to Tiger Rock.
What
are your thoughts?
I think I set my expectations like way too high.
Yeah, because of like the mimic thing, the storyteller. Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely has to do with the mimic and the storyteller, like 100%.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's like, obviously, it has elements of it, like obviously the storyteller's tree, and I think it's definitely like the storyteller's tree infected the VR booth, which is what like implemented the storyteller into it as Tiger Rock. And it has like the ripping off arms thing, which is like what the mimic does. But besides that, it doesn't like... You'd think that it would have more about it. You'd think that... What I expected from the story was... Like, obviously there was the VR booth, but I didn't think that Tiger Rock would be actually in the VR booth. I honestly thought that they would, like, reuse the storyteller in another attraction, and maybe that attraction would have Tiger Rock as the face of it, and that attraction would be the VR booth. That's kind of what I expected from it, but instead Tiger Rock's just, like, inside the VR booth. Also, Tiger Rock is the name of the animatronic, which is a really strange name. You think... like, I understand for the name of the story, yeah, the name of the animatronic, that's a little bit strange of a name. But I just feel like, yeah, the expectations were a little bit too high. And I feel like, but I don't really think that's our fault. I feel like we should have expected more from it because of, like, what it seemed like it would have been.
How it built up.
Yeah. So personally, I would put it... I think I'd put it in B again, but below Under Construction. I reread Under Construction obviously a couple days ago for video that I released yesterday when we're recording this. So I think it's better than Under Construction because like I've refreshed my opinions on it, and I think it's pretty good. I'd honestly put it up to A tier now, I think. But Tiger Rock wasn't as good. It's top of B tier. I still think the storyteller was a little bit strangely written, and while it has good lore implications, I think Tiger Rock was a little bit better. Would you agree? Where would you put it? B?
I think I like the storyteller a bit better, but...
Fair enough.
Other than that, yeah, I think I agree.
I think they're like about as good as each other.
I think Tiger Rock was just like I enjoyed it. I think I actually ended up liking the other stories in Book 7 a bit better, though.
I think that Tiger Rock was, like, the ending of it was really random. It came out of nowhere. It like, is he still in the VR booth? Maybe. Is he dreaming? Maybe. Is he, like, hallucinating? Maybe. What is happening here? Like,
I feel like
it's really, like
really messing with his head at this point.
Did the storyteller escape the tree and go find him? Like, what happened here? You know what I mean? Like, I really don't know. So it really comes out of nowhere, and it's like a little bit of a strange ending. I feel like if they just ended it with him getting out of the VR booth and just ended it there, I think that would have been better, honestly.
I was thinking it could be a Jeremy situation. Like, remember Jeremy?
I don't know. I just think that, like, the ending just came out of nowhere, so it was a little bit strange. I feel like that downgraded the story a little bit. It might have been A tier if it weren't for the ending. I just don't really like the ending that much. All right, now the Monty Within. I think this is a lot of people's like the one that is most interesting in this story, in this book. I mean, yeah, I feel like the first like half or so, up until he got possessed by Monty, it was a little bit boring. But then once he did, it got really good.
I love how sassy Monty is, or how meek he can be.
Yeah. And I think the Mimic is involved here again, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because of like when he was playing the arcade, he was saying that like that Monty was mimicking his actions, and it's like super advanced technology, and like super advanced technology in these books. Let's be honest, it's the Mimic, right? That's just what Fazbear Entertainment uses as a shortcut for anything. That's what they use to replicate like stage routines and stuff in Help Wanted, and then that's how Glitch Trap showed up. And then like they used it to replicate. They used it to mimic freaking people that made storylines. The Mimic mimics them and then creates storylines there. And now it's super advanced technology. It's nothing new. It's just the same one that they've been using the whole time.
Yeah.
So I definitely think like the Mimic is. I think it's cool that the Mimic is here. Like I like that the Mimic is becoming more involved in these stories. Like the Stitch Wraith was involved in like the Stitch Wraith epilogues and stuff. Besides like all the stories that were connected to Eleanor and stuff, the Stitch Wraith like elements were only in like 2-3 stories if you count Fetch, the Real Jake, the Man in Room 1280. Those are kind of like the only ones really, besides To Be Beautiful and all those other ones that had Eleanor, obviously. But for this series, obviously, there's a lot more that have the Mimic in it. Like, obviously...
It feels more connected than Frights did.
Yeah, there's obviously the storyteller, there's, the Mimic itself, there's Tiger Rock, there's now the Monty Within, and obviously there's, like, other stories that involve Glitch Trap, like GGY. So, I feel like they're a lot more... They really are a lot more connected.
I actually like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Where would you put the Monty Within?
Maybe like either top of B or bottom of A.
I personally put it probably like top of A, not above B.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked it. I wouldn't put it above B7. Would I put it above Bobby Dots Part 1? I like Bobby Dots Part 2 better than Part 1, but I don't know if I like Monty Within better than Part 1. It's a coin toss for me. I do like it better than GGY. But is it better than Bobby Dots Part 1? Yeah, sure. I don't know. I'll just leave it there for right now, and if I change my mind, like in a future video where we do this again, like for B7 too, then we'll talk about that again. Bleeding Heart.
Death by Tattoos.
Death by Tattoos.
I just remember like seeing that as your title.
Yeah, that wasn't my title. Yeah. This story was like really messed up and very strange. It's relatable in some aspects, but like I don't think it's that entertaining, in my opinion. I think it's better than Drowning. I don't think it's as good as Submechanophobia. I think I'd put it in C, above Drowning. I know you really liked it, right?
I probably put it in B. But
like I said, it's relatable in some aspects, but like it goes a little too far with it, and it's like really screwed up.
Relate to, I already forgot his name.
Danny.
I remember the tail his name. Danny.
Yeah, I forget their names a lot too.
Yeah, I can remember all the Frights protagonist names.
Yeah, me too. I genuinely forgot that the main character in Drowning was Kara until you mentioned it earlier in this video, honestly. But yeah, Bleeding Heart was just okay for me. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. it was very screwed up and horrific, and obviously like I said, it's horror. It's a horror story, so
It's supposed to be scary.
yeah, exactly. And it is terrifying. It is a very terrifying like concept. But I don't think it was too entertaining, which is why I think it's C.
It definitely kept my attention.
Yeah, me too. Epilogue 7 now. Another epilogue.
This one was very controversial.
It was very controversial. Before we talk about our thoughts on the story itself, do you think that Kelly's the corpse on Burn Trap?
I think it's very possible, but I'm not completely convinced.
I think that maybe some of the flesh on Burn Trap is Kelly, but probably not all of it, because I don't see how, like, her skull, when he crushed her body, how the skull would end up covering the endoskeleton head. I don't see how that would happen. But I mean, if we see in the next epilogue that Lucius sees like a skull on the mimic's head, then obviously that'll be undeniable, but it just wouldn't make that much sense, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be that surprised either. I still think that William being the corpse makes sense, like, in the regard of why Vanessa had Glamrock Freddy dig underneath the Pizzaplex, because, like, what is down there that they actually need? Unless somehow the mimic, like, ends up... Unless maybe the mimic ends up underneath the pizza place at some point somehow. I don't know how that would happen. Maybe through the vents collapsing like they were supposed to last time.
Find everything out in Tales. In the future epilogues, I mean.
I think it was interesting. It wasn't. It was better than Epilogue 6 and 5 and probably 4. I'd put it in B tier.
So, I have taken over Impulse 737's channel. This is now the Impulse Libra 37 channel. And we're gonna make some changes around here. The storyteller. B tier down there. First, we're gonna move that all the way to S. And epilogue 3, that one's going to B. Then, we're gonna make some changes in Impulse 7 Theories. We will no longer split line games.
Huh? What'd you say? I heard something about split line games.
I wasn't trying to take over your channel.
You were taking over my channel while I was AFK.
No, I said I wasn't taking over your channel.
What did you say about split line games?
I said this channel will no longer be split line.
How are you feeling about stitch line and split line games right now? I know you were debating with yourself.
I don't know at this point. I feel like it could have been intended, but then there's also things I feel like that doesn't really make it work.
I feel like split line games fixes a lot of problems that I have with stitch line games. Not all of them, but like a lot of them. And I think it's the most likely option. I feel like either split line games is true or neither of them are, because the way that the mimic affects the timeline kind of like leaves no space for the stitch line to happen. You know what I mean?
So I have a question under split line.
Yep.
Would Ultimate Custom Night not be in the game line?
No, it would, obviously, but like it would happen okay, the way that I see it is in split line games, on the side of the game's timeline, the Pizzaplex was immediately started to be built, right? The Pizzaplex immediately started construction, right? So there was not really that much time for the cops to look through the pizza place, and I think that if they had more time, which they did under the stitch line because there was no Pizzaplex, so they had more time in the stitch line, so that's how they ended up finding William's body. But in the game's timeline, because they had no time because of the Pizzaplex, they couldn't find William's body before they stopped investigating. And then William was just left under there. He was still like experiencing Ultimate Custom Night, but just under the Pizzaplex instead, under the Pizzaplex and under the Pizza Place, instead of in the hospital. That's basically the way that I see it.
Okay.
We went a little off track, but I think we're pretty much done talking about Epilogue 7, right? Well, we were talking about the lore. How do you feel about the actual story? We forgot to talk about that because that's even though that's the point.
Actual story, it still kind of just felt like the previous epilogues.
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, it was less repetitive because of like the whole Kelly thing at the end. Even if like the way that Kelly died made it a lot more interesting than the other epilogues. If it wasn't for Kelly dying that way, it would probably be C tier again. But I think that made it a lot more interesting of an epilogue. It wasn't like amazing, but it was pretty good in my opinion.
For me, I think I'd still put it in C, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It wasn't enough to save it.
That's fair. That's fair. But I think that's all there is to talk about, right? You got anything else to say before we end the video?
Why is pressure so low?
It's still S tier.
Well, it's too low.
Hey, it's not my fault too many good stories keep coming out, man.
Fair enough, fair enough.
You know, it was like one of my favorite stories, but then Bobby Dots Part 2 came out. I reread Frailty, The Mimic came out. So I kind of just put those above it because they're better, in my opinion. But yeah, that's why pressure is that low. It's still pretty high. It's still S tier, so don't complain. Do you want me to put more stuff in S tier so that it's less low on the list?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You know, I find it funny that most of the stories are really good, and like each tier there's less and less in them, except A and B, which are the same. I feel like Tiger Rock as a book was just a little bit mid, honestly. Like it could have been way better.
I'm just hoping it doesn't end up like Frights, where it's all the earlier stories that are more memorable and interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. Also, I would like to say that not the day that we're recording this a day before I actually upload it, but the day that this video is coming out is actually the day that Tiger Rock actually officially releases, which is really funny because we, like I said,
we read those stories fast.
Yeah, like I said, we both got the stories early. I read I'm pretty sure I read Tiger Rock, Monty Within, and Bleeding Heart all within like 2 days, I think. And then I stopped reading for like a day or two, and then I read Epilogue 7.
For me, it took like a week or something. I actually got Tiger Rock on the original release date, which was July 4th.
Yeah, I got it from Indigo when I was going, like, on my friend's birthday. Because I had one of my friends, her birthday party was on July 9th, but her actual birthday was July 7th. And on her birthday, like, I went to go get the gifts that I would give her for her birthday party. And, like, I went to Walmart to get stuff. And she wanted an Indigo gift card. She wanted an Indigo gift card. You work at Walmart? You
Yeah.
right? Yeah? Okay. I thought so. I was pretty sure, and then you said yay, so... no, but I went to Walmart to check for an Indigo gift card and to get the other stuff that I was getting her. But there was no Indigo gift card. So I text my mom, and I'm just like, hey, Mom, can you come pick me up and bring me to Indigo so I can get a gift card and also check for this book because it might be there? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I got the gift card, but, like, before I got the gift card, I went and grabbed the book. and... I went to the book section, I searched for a little bit, and then I found where the FNAF books were. And then when I did, I looked down, and then I was so shocked to see green on the side of one of the books. I was like, no way. There's no way. And then I see the number 7 on it. I'm like, no, there's no way.
No.
And then I got it, and I called my mom, who was in Marshall's at the time, and I was like, Mom, I found the book. And I was, like, really excited. Probably one of the best days of the year.
Yeah, I remember, like, I was going to a 4th of July party, and I remember, like, before, I had to wait for the host to get all ready. So I went to Barnes & Noble to pass the time, and then I just saw Tiger Rock. I was like, mine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on the Indigo website, which like I said, I got it from Indigo. I don't know. I don't think you have Indigo in the U.S. I'm pretty sure, but
We might, but I haven't heard of it.
yeah, I think there's like only a few locations. I think it originates in Canada, but like there's a few locations in the U.S. But maybe it's not where you live or something. I don't know. But I went to Indigo, and I found a book, obviously, and then a few days later, I checked the Indigo website and I saw that the book was never delayed on Indigo. It was already, like, it was still supposed to come out July 4th, and it did. That's why the book was in the store, because it had actually already come out, which is really funny.
Okay, yeah, I looked up Indigo, all the locations were Canada.
Yeah.
Also, Steel just tweeted another Guess the Sketch.
Another Guess the Sketch. Oh my god. Are you excited for Ruin? Probably not as much as anymore because there's no map bot, right?
yeah, there's no map bot.
No map bot. Okay, no. Let's be serious here. Map bot, maybe not as like the map bot giving you the map, but as like a broken map bot on the ground somewhere. I think we'll probably see that, right? You think that we'll see that? Like, I feel like that's pretty likely, right?
If we don't, I'm leaving the FNAF there.
That's fair enough. We've been rambling a little bit. This video is probably going to be like half an hour long, but
we've been recording for 40 minutes.
I've been recording for 50 minutes actually.
Oh shoot.
But like we actually like we've been talking about we've been doing the actual video for like 40. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you didn't, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. I would say subscribe to Libra, but his channel's a little bit dead right now. What happened to your channel, man?
I'm resetting it, okay?
Okay. Yeah, so still subscribe to Libra. Still subscribe to Libra, because Libra is very based.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kevin is based still.
I know I'm based. No, but yeah, subscribe to Libra, subscribe to me if you want to, and leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. Oh wait, no, I'm not doing a video next. I'm pretty sure I'm doing is my stream next up on my schedule? My stream of Security Breach? I think it is. Whatever I do next, I'll see you then. Bye guys.